Here we are, folks. How are we doing tonight? Everybody should know the drill by now. Let me know that you can hear me okay. And if you can't already tell, we're in my garage. So we are going to be playing some pool along with just having a good old time. Because I am 41 today. Good God, I'm getting old. How's everybody doing tonight? Shorty Dancer, I'm glad you can be here. I saw your message earlier that you thought you wouldn't be able to. So happy to have you here, along with everybody else that's here. And I see some of my other followers that are a tad bit older than me, trying to convince me not to give into this old nonsense. And y'all, yeah, I mean, you guys are not wrong. It's been a long 41 years of my life, and I'm looking forward to many, many more. But the reason why I wanted to do a live stream is normally on my birthday, I do a push up challenge where I do the number of push ups equal to the age of which I'm at. So I think at least on my YouTube channel, I think I have about, I don't know, two or three videos that I've done for the past couple of years, and then some of the older ones are on my Facebook profile. But what I at least wanted to do today, at least live, is to do the push-up challenge live, along with anything else that we could possibly turn into some sort of challenge. I can try to do Dr. Dave's Run Your Age Straight Pull Challenge, like I did last year, where I ran 50 some odd balls when I only needed to run 40. So I can try to do that again tonight on a live stream. So I only want to live stream for maybe a couple of hours, 11 p.m. Central Standard Time at the latest. But who knows? It all depends on how much fun we're having. With all of this, and then of course, I'm here to talk to everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody's wondering about London and the Moscone Cup and stuff. And I thought I was going to do a completely separate live stream where I would talk about being in Vegas for APA and then being at the Moscone Cup, all in one live stream. But when I knew that I was going to go live tonight, I figured, well, I can't go live and not talk about the Moscone Cup. People are going to wonder, like, how was it over there? What was it like? Et cetera, et cetera. So I figured we can at least do all of that here tonight. There is a question that I saw scrolling by in the chat, and that was by, I think it was by Chance Scott. He was asking about that his team captain seems to be holding him back as a skill level 2, and because he's on the verge of going up, and his captain does not want him to go up. So what should he do? Well, I already saw some of the answers that I would advise. I would advise that you should switch to another team. Um, I get the idea of teams wanting to hold people back to be able to go to Las Vegas in hopes of, if you play as a skill level 2, you can basically be like the secret weapon where they'll put you up against a skill level 3 and it'll be a race to 2-3, and you can just grab your 2 racks like that and be up 3-0. Also in hopes of that you will not go up at Las Vegas to a skill level 3. And even if you do, then it should be fine. But you would hope to not go up to a skill level 4, because if you advance 2 levels while you're at APA Vegas, your whole team will get disqualified. So I, for one, do not support that decision at all. I think it's just dishonest. I mean, if you're getting better, get better. And unfortunately, that's kind of the genius of the APA system, is that as people, get better in skill level, teams have to split apart. So that means you have to bring more people into the APA league, which is basically a good business model, because the more people that come in, the more revenue the APA is generating. But if you truly want to get better at the game, don't hold your skill level back. I mean, play to your heart's content, because you're always going to want to win. Vegas is always going to be there. You don't have to go there with a team, though it's great to go with a team. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that, but go to Vegas with your team with some integrity, and not with sandbagging. That would be my number one advice. Bang time pool, you calling me old, man? I mean, I think you're a tad bit older than me. So that makes you the older man, along with a lot of other people in my chat. It's very great to have everybody here. Kickshot Pool Gear, how you doing? And I see a bunch of other people. Persistent Wolf Billiards, good to have you here. Roopster. I mean, there's so many people. I can't go through all of the names here, but it's great to have everybody here. And I'm actually kind of curious if some trolls are going to come in tonight. I've been attracting a couple of trolls lately, so it's gonna be fun if they decide to stop in. But we'll see. Well, we'll see what kind of people they actually are. But we're here to have some fun. So I want to go ahead and get this out of the way because as time goes by, I might just start getting tired as the night goes on. So, show of hands, reactions, whatever. How many of y'all think that I'll actually be able to do 41 push-ups? And I'll do it live. I'm actually going to get on my pool table and do 41 push-ups. How many of y'all think that I will actually be able to do it this year? I've been training a little bit here and there. I didn't do very much training when I was in London because it was a bunch of staying up all night and then watching the Moscone Cup. But I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. I feel strong enough that I think I should be able to do it. And then, of course, if I hit the 41, I'll do one more for good luck. And then depending upon how I actually feel, then maybe I'll just try to push myself to failure. But if I push myself to failure, then I might not be able to shoot pool. But it'll just depend. It'll just depend. All right, everybody's thinking that I can do it. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's switch to this view. And let's see what I can do. Because I am going to get on this table as I make all kinds of noise. Let me see here. I gotta make sure I can see the live stream. I gotta move my laptop around a bit. So I'm soon to be in the process of getting my table refelted, as well as getting my pockets shimmed. I have 4.5 corner pockets and 5-inch side pockets, and I'm going to get my pockets shimmed to 4.25, and then have my side pockets shimmed down to, I think, 4 3/4. Hopefully here soon. I've been talking about it for a long time. I've got my buddy on schedule, but I don't know if it's going to get done before New Year's, but certainly sometime after New Year's. But without further ado, let's see if I can do 41 push-ups. Hopefully everybody can see me okay. Whew, here we go. I'll count out every 10. 10. 20. 30. 40 and 41. One more for good luck. 43. 44. 45. And that's failure. If I'd have tried 46, I probably would have fell face first right onto the slate. Whew. That's another year of doing push-ups. Oh my goodness. But I'm glad that I'm still in good enough shape to be able to do that. Like, holy cow. Oh, okay. Let's turn this back so you don't get blinded by the light. You can stare at my cube lathe. Whew. Okay. Sooner or later, there has been talk before to where a lot of my fellow YouTubers and stuff, we have a small little community where we all talk to each other, give each other ideas and stuff. That there was a mention before about some of y'all should do this with me and just do the same number that I'm going to do, not be able to do whatever age that you're at. But I do this stuff because, let's be honest, nobody likes getting old. So this is kind of my way of staying young. And it's actually a really good buddy of mine named Ricardo that I've known for many, many, many years. He's the first one that actually turned me on into doing this, and he's well into his 50s. Former soccer coach, former boxing coach, loves to play pool. His youngest son's an awesome pool player. But I remember the first time I saw Ricardo do this, and it was very inspiring, and I've been doing it ever since. And I usually tag him after I've done it, so that way he's reminded. And then I know a couple of other people actually started to get involved and start doing it as well. And in case anybody hasn't noticed, let's see here. I think this is a very appropriate shirt to be wearing today. I don't know if anybody noticed this or not. I remember the first time I saw this shirt online, and I'm like, gotta have that shirt. Whew. 41 shots, Andy K. If you're talking alcoholic shots, I would die. I would literally die if I tried to do 41 shots. I can try to do 41 pool shots. That'll definitely be a thing that I'll try to do. But as I'm catching my breath and letting my muscles settle down, we can talk. Like I said, I'm sure everybody's interested in what was it like being at the Moscone Cup. I mean, and it was just fan-freaking-tastic. I can try to do. Let me see what I can do here. I want to see maybe, just maybe, I might be able to show y'all some pictures. So let's see here. This is all from my let's see here. Actually, these are some really good pictures that I want to show. Let me see if I can do this. All right, so we need to do this. I'll switch to this. And we'll do that. All right, and then okay, let's see what I can do here. I want to be able to show y'all some pictures. Some of y'all might have already seen these if you follow me, at least on Facebook. What else am I missing? Let's turn this on. Actually, let's move you down. Turn that off and turn that off. All right. Now I think I want to take this. I just want to shrink it down here just so I can still be seen. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Whee! Who do we have here, guys? And gals? I got to meet the Terminator, and I even got to chit chat with them for a little bit at the VIP after party, which was just it's just such a blessing to be able to just to be able to talk to him, find out like what's his opinion on being a YouTuber on top of being the professional pool player that he is, and he just has such an appreciation for like the amount of work and effort it takes to putting into a YouTube video, and I love his YouTube channel and the stuff that he's able to produce. So it's really really cool. Let's see here. I need to be able to make sure that everything's working appropriately. I got a couple more pictures that I can show y'all. Because these are all on my old iPhone 8 that I was able to take some of these pictures with. I am going to be upgrading my phone here soon. There we go. So I think if I go back to here, then we can go this direction, and I got to meet the man himself. Now I've met Shane Van Boning before at the Texas Open. Didn't really get a chance to chit chat with him. He looked like he was pretty busy with what he was doing. So I at least wanted to be able to snag a picture with him at the Moscone Cup, because I think I have one or two pictures with him whenever he came to Texas to play in the Texas State Open. And then it's just another one. There we go. I got to meet this lovely couple, Tyler Steyer and his fiancee, Margaret Fefalova. And I also got to meet Tyler in Texas as well. He was here for the last Texas State Open. So to be able to chit chat with them briefly was a lot of fun. And it was great to see how much appreciation Team USA had for like myself and everybody else that came from the United States to come support Team USA at the Moscone Cup. I mean, every one of the players like expressed to other people like how grateful and appreciative they were that we came to support them, which was really really cool. Let's see here. And then this one's always funny. Tell me if y'all can see something here, because I don't know. I get told too many times that me and Chris Reinhold look alike. I don't know. Y'all tell me. I mean, is there a resemblance, or could there be a resemblance? Because we got Chris Reinhold on the left, or what would be my right in the photograph, and of course Skylar Woodward on the right. But can anybody see if there's actually a resemblance? Because I get told plenty of times that people think that I'm Chris Reinhold, and I don't think anybody ever tells him that he looks like little Chris. It's always just the other way around. And I think Chris Reinhold's only like 24 years old, so I'm glad I look that young. People say that could pass for brothers. That's just too awesome. All right, let's see what else do we got here. Oh, look at this. We got another YouTuber, Carl Boys. Anybody familiar with his YouTube channel? He was actually able to publish some behind the scenes stuff on the Moscone Cup, which was really really cool to see. But it's great to see that even our professionals that are out there are taking, can have the free time to be able to put out the YouTube content they put out, and they're able to, bring things at a much more professional level, maybe break things down a little bit better, or show you like high level types of shots that I probably wouldn't be able to show you because I just usually don't think like that on some of the shots that could possibly come out. I at least am able to show like basics and stuff that hopefully transition you up towards that level, and then someone that's up at that level can hopefully bring you up just a little bit higher. So it's like as you run through this hierarchy of skillful players that can actually help you climb the ladder at being a skillful player. And then I think the last one I have is David Al-Kaidi. And then let's see here. What's another good photo I can show y'all? I can show y'all this one. Let's see if this works. That's how close this is how close I was able to get to the Moscone Cup table, which I thought was really cool. And the seating arrangement for this was like really cool. It didn't really matter where you were sitting, because just to give you an idea of where I was at, let me see here. Yeah, because like this was literally my viewpoint from where I was sitting. You can see here Chris getting ready to do a jump shot. But I think if I remember correctly, I think I couldn't have been no more than like 7 to 10 rows from the actual ground floor, and then my phone is actually able to zoom in this close. It makes me want to next time actually bring like an actual professional camera to where I can actually zoom in and get really good clarity of a picture. And that's definitely what I'm probably going to be doing, at least for next year, when the Moscone Cup is in Las Vegas, for sure. Let's see here. But yeah, like I said, it was just such a blast to be there. Got hundreds of other photos, but I don't want to actually take the time to go through every single solitary one of them. But those were at least just a few, just to give you an idea of what I had going there. And like I said, it was just so much fun, so much fun. Let's see here, and then let's get rid of that, and then close this, and then close this, so I don't want to get any interruptions. Okay, so whew. What does everybody want me to do? Do y'all want me to try to do Dr. Dave's Run Your Age Straight Pull Challenge? Other alternatives that I thought of that would probably be a little bit more difficult would be to break and run at least 5 9-ball racks in a row, or possibly break and run at least 4 10-ball racks. The 10-ball racks is going to be the hardest one because making a ball on the break for 10-ball is more difficult than making a ball on the break for 9-ball, obviously, because I would be using a template rack. But I'm up for anything. I can do a combination of 2 or 3, maybe all 3, depending upon how fast I'm actually able to complete these challenges, let alone if I'm even able to complete them. Because even when I did my straight pull challenge last year, that took some effort because straight pull's not my number one game. And to be able to construct a good pattern to where I can have a decent breakout ball, that takes some thought. But I'm able to do okay because for the straight pull challenge, that's gonna at least take what, 3 racks, right? Because you're allowed to score 14 points per rack. So 14 times 3 would be 42. If I can at least complete 3 racks, then I'll have at least 42. Andy K, you want to know, was the crowd that bad as far as being smashed? Day 1 and day 2, the crowd really wasn't all that bad. The whole cackling of the extension anytime anytime that the ref called for an extension, it was funny at first, but then it got to the point where it was really really annoying. But on day 3, that was a sold out crowd, and yeah, like on day 3, it was a bit out of hand. I'm all for all of the hooting and hollering, support your country, support your team, whatever, because it's Team Europe versus Team USA. I'm all for that. I'm all for being patriotic and everything else, blah, 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 blah. But when a player gets down to start executing their shot, that's when you should basically hear a pin drop. But on day 3, it wasn't like that at all. And the ref, in my opinion, just did not do a good enough job trying to keep the crowd under control. I remember the worst of it was, I think, when who was playing? I think it was Sky Woodward and Tyler Steyer when they were doing their doubles match. I think there was a shot that Tyler was on. I think he was cutting the 7 ball or something, and it was a rather difficult cut shot, and the crowd was basically doing like this, oh, just building up, getting louder and louder, even while Tyler was down on the shot. And they didn't even get quiet once he was down on the shot, but Tyler didn't care. Tyler still held his own. He shot. He ended up missing the shot, but it was just like, if you would at least have some sort of common courtesy, especially at a high level like that, and just to see that the ref didn't do anything. Like when that actually happened, the ref didn't raise his hand to tell the crowd to quiet down. Nothing. It just went on, and then there were just times where the ref would just raise his hand just a little too late to try to keep the crowd quiet. Day 4 really wasn't all that bad. And it wasn't a sold out crowd. It was just the fact that on day 3 it was a sold out crowd, and after a lot of viewers basically had one too many beers in them. I don't know, but I know on day 4 it didn't take them long to kick somebody out, which was basically what everybody was rooting for. There was someone in the crowd that would basically whistle while the player was down. They found that person real quick and just kicked them out immediately. And then pretty much after that, that's when it was rather subtle, more respectful, which is basically all that had to happen on day 3. Is just of the sold out crowd that was in there. All you had to do is just pick 1 to 3 people that were getting out of hand and just give them the boot. And I would be willing to bet that the rest would follow suit and be quiet when they're supposed to be quiet. Again, when the players are walking around trying to figure out what to do, hoot, holler, do whatever the heck you want to do. But when you see the player get ready to go into their pre-shot routine and get down on the shot, start quieting down and let them shoot the shot. And if they miss, then you could do the boos and the yays and the hoot and hollers and everything else. And if they make the shot, do the same thing. But just not while they're down on the shot. We as amateur pool players, we have to deal with that when we're in our local leagues, because we're listening to music. People are walking by, all kinds of different stuff. But at a higher level, you'd want to have just a little bit more respect for the players that are playing for their team, or just in general. I mean, with the amount of crowd control that you can actually have at the Moscone Cup, even if we as amateurs had that for ourselves, I think that would just be better. At least for us, but we don't. I would have to say that I don't think we play with the type of pressure that they play with. We obviously play with pressure, depending upon how much of a serious player that you are, but I don't think we play with as much pressure as the members of the Moscone Cup. But the whole thing is going to be that next year when it's here in Las Vegas, I just hope that the American viewers can have more respect than what happened over there. Because I think there were some American viewers that were a little out of hand, but from what I can tell, it was mostly the European viewers. So, this isn't the two wrongs make a right. So when the Moscone Cup happens in Las Vegas, I just wouldn't want to see um, any Americans basically do the same thing. I would want them to hopefully have at least some type of respect for both teams. But we'll see. We got a whole another year to prepare for that. But we'll have to see. Oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Brandon, I turned 41 today. Let's see here. All right. I tell you what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and start with straight pull. So I'm going to make a couple attempts at straight pull. And we'll see how it goes from there. So I have to at least try to get through 3 racks. And so for those that are not familiar with how to do straight pull when you're solo, is you can rack all the balls if you want just to get that first rack started. But once you rack all the balls, take the head ball out because you're automatically going to set up a break ball. And so the break ball that I'm going to start with, because it's been the easiest one for me to do, is to be able to cut the ball into the side pocket, and then I'm going to try to drive the cue ball into the rack and then open them up. And then depending upon what the spread is, we'll see how we can try to conduct a pattern to find what's going to be the next break ball. So I'll give this a try for a little bit, and we'll see how this goes. So this is actually a terrible start because I don't really have a shot at a ball. So in straight pull, it is call ball, call pocket. So I was obviously calling the 9 ball into the side pocket. We saw the 2 ball fell as well. So I automatically have 2 points. So I'm allowed to shoot at any ball that I want as long as I designate what pocket it's going to. And like I said, I don't have a shot. So this might be a short rack. I'm just going to have to start back over. But I am going to try to bank the 4 ball into the cross side pocket. All right, now I have a little bit of room to work with here. My muscles are still kind of shaky. So 10 in the side. So what I'm essentially doing here is I'm going to run down to 1 ball. And when I get down to that 1 ball, I'm going to rack the other 14 back up and then shoot that unracked ball and then try to break the rack open just like how I started. So right now, I'm looking at maybe leaving the 6 ball or possibly leaving the 1 ball as the last ball, because you can see that when I rack the balls back up, if I were to shoot either one of them into the corner pockets at a nice back cut angle, I would drive the cue ball right back into the rack and hopefully open it back up. So I have to make sure that I construct a pattern that allows me to do that. And because of the way these balls are oriented, I'm more than likely going to be leaving the 1 ball because I have to be able to get position over here to start pecking the 3, the 14 off, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see here. That 12 ball is so close, actually. I'm going to leave it alone for now. So I'm obviously not going to call any obvious shots, but if I have a non-obvious shot, I'll at least try to announce what it is that I'm doing. Oh, that wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do. And that ends it. So now I have to start completely back over because I was trying to get position for either the 13 or the 15. So what did I run? I've got 3, 6, 8. So I ran 7 in a row before I missed. So now I just start back over. So I'm going to rack them all back up. And try again. And this is what it was like, actually, when I was trying to just record the straight pull challenge. So now you get to see all the behind the scenes and like how many attempts does it take for me to do it, et cetera, et cetera. So let's try this again. Okay, that's a little bit better. I should hopefully have an opening shot. So, bit of a mess that I eventually have to deal with. And I don't really have a good break ball. So I have to try to eventually develop one. Trying to think about what to do with that clutter there. But I think I'm going to have to get the 3 ball out of the way at some point. Which will be now. So 2 for 1. So the idea was for me to eventually use that 6 ball to maybe break them out, or I could try to cut the 9. All right, and it looks like the 12 will be a good break ball. So I have to try to develop a pattern to where I'll have some sort of back cut angle on the 12 ball. So let's see, how could I do this? There's a variety of ways to do this. What's the easiest one? That stinks. I have a bit of an angle on the 6 that I didn't want to have. So we're going to try to reverse the cue ball. Now, this isn't going to give me the back cut angle that I want. So I got to be careful how I shoot this 4 ball. Slow down. I don't want that big of a back cut angle. Jeez. All right. So I made it down to the last ball. So I'm automatically on 14. So I'm going to rack these up. And there's no rhyme or reason of a particular rack pattern. Yeah, you have to put the balls in because you're allowed to shoot them in any order. And you can see how bad of a back cut angle I have here. But you should also see how the cue ball is going to drive right into the rack if I'm able to cut this 12 ball in. And that in and of itself is basically straight pull. So now I have to try to rinse and repeat. So got a bit of a bad clutter down here because I don't think I can make the 8 by itself. Man, that's really tough. I got to figure out how to get down there to maybe bump into them. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get down here. Okay, this might be it. This might be my opportunity. So I look and see that the tangent line takes me over there, so I kind of have to use some topspin. There we go. All right, so now trying to think what ball to use as a break ball because there's not really good. Maybe the 5 ball. I think the 1 ball is too far back because I think the corner would be somewhere right around here, so that wouldn't be a very good break ball. A little bit of a clutter that I have to deal with. Might be able to use the 9 ball maybe as a break ball. Was hoping to break those 2 out. I I thought about drawing into them, but then I was afraid that I'd get tied up. So I don't even know if this is going to work. If this is any better. Yikes. Yep. I don't have a shot. But we're going to have to try to come up with something. 5 on the side. Oh, look at that. And I overcut it. Golly. So, 14. This would have been 28, 27, 26, 25. Right? So I ran 25 that time. I think I got that right. So we do this again. And I think after this attempt, I'll take a small break. Come back and see what everybody thinks. But that's straight full for you. Good game to help develop how to break out clutters, how to read clutters. Because sometimes you can just shoot straight into the clutter because you can see that the way the balls are going to react, that a ball's going to go in. Okay. See if I can get that good spread again. All right. So that's pretty good, except no real good opening shot except for this 9-ball down here. It'd be great if I can leave that 10-ball for last. That would be awesome. So I can definitely try to construct a pattern to do so. See if I can see this 7. I can. Let's go ahead and take it out. Oh, wow. Caught the point and still double kissed it in. So I'm thankful for that. That was a goof. I didn't want to touch that 3-ball. Yikes. The idea was if I can get right here, I come up to shoot the 14 in, then I have my natural back cut angle on the 10. Now I actually have to do some work. And of course I don't get it, so now I have to think of something else because I have to shoot my 10 ball. Well, maybe not. I can try to cut my 14 in and then get the same type of position like I did on the last rack. Which I'm guessing that's probably more ideal that I try to do that. Let's see if I can do it. And of course, I scratch. Ah, I even had I thought I had a touch of inside spin on there for that one. All right, so far what? 25. I think 25 right now is the best that I've done. So just a small break. That first rack, like my arms were still shaking from the push-ups. Ugh. But there you go. Like I said, that's the idea of straight pull. Let me turn this off so you don't have this bright spot in the background. But that's straight pull, otherwise known as 14-1. I think it's also known as continuous pull. But a very fun game, like I said, to play. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Like, there's a couple of things that are actually in the game that are pretty fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to demonstrate these on the first go around, but I remember when I was learning how to play this game, and like sometimes you think that there just isn't a shot. So like, what do you do? So like, for example, if this is what you left yourself with going into the next rack, you can't force a breakout shot or anything else. But I saw someone do this once before, where they just played the ball, they get their point, and let's see if I can do it. One ball, cross side pocket. Well, if I would at least kept the cue ball on the table, there you go. You saw that the one ball went into the cross side pocket, but I would have lost the point since the cue ball fell off the table. So like, I think that ball would have gotten spotted. But let me try it again with just a full rack. And try to keep the cue ball on the table this time. But there's some really fun shots that you can develop out of the rack. So we'll try it again. 10 ball, cross side pocket. Let's see if I can keep the cue ball on the table this time. Something kind of like that, even though I banked it short. Or you could even call the two railer. And then I've seen really aggressive players, because if anybody's not familiar with the opening shot, like if you were to actually play a two-player game, breaking in this game is a disadvantage. You want to be able to rack all the balls, and to have a legal straight pull break, you have to get two balls out of that rack to hit a rail. And so the opening shot typically, if I can do it, would look something like this. Well, except without scratching. You'd want the cue ball to come somewhere like that. That would basically be a good opening shot. The 6 ball's out in the open, yeah, but, depends on how aggressive someone's going to want to be to try to shoot this in. And like I said, I'm not the greatest of straight pull players, but that would be your basic opening shot. Now, I've seen some people, though, that can take that opening shot and use it to their advantage. Because just like how you can play a corner ball into the cross side pocket, let's see if I can do this on an 8-footer. I've seen it go better on 9-footers, but I'm gonna try to play the 14 ball right here. Here it comes. Here it comes. Well, like I said, you get the idea, right? So if you make that ball and you kind of basically open the rack up as well, then you keep on running. But if you miss, then you pretty much just leave the table open for your opponent to be able to score all kinds of points. But that's what's really fun about the game is being able to learn the types of shots that can actually be in a straight pull game, especially when you're in super aggressive mode. So, very fun game. And like I said, that's why if you've seen the movie The Hustler with Paul Newman and Jack Gleason, that's the game that they're playing, and you actually get to see some of the straight pull shots that are in there where they're reading the clutters and they're making a ball out of the clutter and stuff, and opening the rack up at the same time so that they can just score points over and over again. Andy K, you want to know what kind of felt I'm going with? I believe it's Simonis 860. I have it here. I've had this for quite some time. Because I've been saying that I was going to do this for like the longest time in the world. Because here are my shims to reshim the pockets. And what is this? And there's no actual label, but I mean here it is right here. I have a SKU number, but that doesn't tell me anything. But yeah, but it should be Simonis 860. That's which is what the table came with. Whew. Mr. Positive, you want to know if there's a lot of handicapped in a wheelchair players that do leagues. I actually know a buddy of mine that is confined to a wheelchair that plays in our local APA league. He's got some pretty cool gadgets that allow him to be able to bridge where he's out of his reach. It's actually like it's a bridge device that he attaches to his cue that has a wheel at the bottom of it, so that way he can lay the cue down onto the table and kind of just roll it along the table in order to play a shot. So I mean that is a thing. Now, granted, there's not a lot of them players like that in my area. I only actually know of one. But I mean, it is a thing, and I do believe at least other areas like I think the APA has like a wheelchair challenge type of thing where you can actually have a player that's not confined to a wheelchair partner up with someone that is. And you basically do like a Scotch doubles kind of thing. I know I've seen the APA do that before, but playing from a wheelchair should not hinder you from wanting to play, because I've seen people do it. And like I said, I personally know someone that does do it. I mean, if you have the will to play and the means to play, then by all means, if you want to play, then do it. There really shouldn't be anything stopping you. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions before I give another go at it? Let's see. I'm going to scroll up and look around for a little bit. I see someone asking, what kind of shaft do I use? This is from Tim Hogan. It's the Predator Revo 12.9. 100% bow hunter. You said I don't look 41. I do appreciate that. I'm gonna give that credit to my mother because my mother is Vietnamese, so I have a little bit of Asian genes in me, and Asians age well. Ooh, no questions. Get to it. Well, okay, let's go ahead and do that then. Let's just do it. All right, 25. Let's see if I can do it. And for any of y'all that have been wanting me to play pool without a template rack, this is one of the few games where I'll actually not use a template rack. Though I could. All right. Here we go again. Let's see. Make sure the stream is where it needs to be, and it is. I don't want to run through half of a rack and realize I didn't switch cameras. Oh, that was a great start. That's the highlight of the blooper reel. And there are other starting positions. I'm just not very good at using them. So, like, kind of like this. But I usually don't like the results that I get. So let's see what I can do here. That's actually not bad. That's actually really not bad. So if we look around, you can already see that the 8-ball could probably make a pretty good break ball if I can construct a good pattern around it. So let's see what we can do. Oh, that got away from me. So just trying to do a simple pattern right now to clear this half of the table. Definitely going to have to get the 13 out of the way at some point. Even the 9-ball makes it. Actually, the 9-ball is a better break ball because it's closer. Let's see what I can do here. But see, good straight pool players would know that right off the bat. And I don't consider myself to be a good straight pool player. Mm. Oh, ho! Don't give me that big of a cut angle. Slow down. All right, there we go. As long as I have a little bit of a cut angle, so I can try to blast the 9-ball into the pocket and then break the rack open. So 14. I think the only problem is I have to stretch. Okay, so far so good. So really, I want to try to figure out how to get this opened up at some point. I got a couple of starters that I can do. Got the 11 ball and the 1 ball. 11 ball opens up the 10. Make sure how this 5 looks. Okay, that all looks good. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the 11. Give me a thumbs up for a left-handed shot. Straight in left-handed shot. Matter of fact, I have 86 people in here and only 25 likes. Even for my birthday, can I at least get the likes up to a 50% ratio? So if you haven't already, smash that like button. Here we go. Try to open this up. Oh my goodness. Maybe hit the thumbs down after missing that shot. Golly. But no, in all seriousness, let's try to keep the like ratio above 50%. That would at least be a sweet birthday present to give me for this live stream. All right, this one actually wasn't that bad, so I'll try it again. Well, didn't really want to touch that 7, but okay. Well, wanted a little bit more of an angle than that. Oh, why do I got to make things hard for myself? Oh, come on. And this is why it's also good to make sure that you're paying attention to the pattern that you're actually trying to run. Sometimes I get a little lazy and I just shoot. I have an idea of what it is I'm trying to get position on, but I need to actually make sure that I take the time to pinpoint where I want that cue ball to end up and not just lackadaisically shoot a ball. Let's see here. I hear my phone going off. Okay. All right. Come on. I can do this. I've done it before. Yuck. And you can see it can begin and end that quickly. Now, what I would like to know is who's going to try this next? There was a point in time where, like, after I did the first challenge, I talked about wanting to try to create a series of trying to be able to run 100 balls, but I never got started. Here we go. That's better. I never started that series. I mean, I still want to do it, but between all the other projects that I try to do for my channel, I just never made the time to get started. But who would like to try this? Because I'd like to see other people try it. Not so much just run your age. Of course, do that on your actual birthday. But try to see, like, what's the highest number that you can actually run. Does anybody have any idea what my break ball is going to be, or what I'm going to try to make my break ball be? Slow down. If y'all guessed the one ball, you would be correct. Oh, bounce off the rail. I don't want this thin of a back cut shot again. Gee whiz. Oh, I'm only going to hit that 15 ball if I do this right. All right, that worked. Wiped its feet on the way in. Oh, and I hit that way too soft. I'm supposed to get position for the 3. 15 in the side. So far, so good. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Hmm. Ah, I should have went for the 4. Well, that still doesn't beat my current best. All right. I think after this one, maybe we'll try something a little different, like maybe the 9-ball ghost. See if I can break and run some 9-ball racks equal to 41, which is going to take what? What is that? 5 would be 45. So I got a 4.5-ish. And I'm talking legit break and runs, like break no ball in hand. I'm always going to make the wing ball. So I'm at least guaranteed 1. Ew. Not the greatest of starts. 3 ball's my break ball. I'm just trying to figure out which ball's the best to set up for. Slow down. All right. So, as you can see, it's fairly simple to get 14. And you're always starting at least with that that immediate break ball. But then everything else after that gets a little tricky. You set yourself up with a good starting break ball. You don't have to blast the rack open, but get a nice spread and then just pick a decent pattern. You're at least going to get 14. That was not what I wanted to do, but whatever. Ah. And this is, of course, is what happens as time goes by. When the frustration starts to set in, and then you don't give the amount of attention that you probably should on a given shot. I'm actually breaking a sweat. I don't know why my mini split isn't really doing the job that it should be doing. Okay, let me just take one small break. I may try the straight pull one again, but we're gonna do some 9-ball. I haven't played 9-ball for y'all in quite some time. Whew. All right, what's everybody doing? Everybody's answering everybody's questions. I really do appreciate this. And I see that I got 59 likes. Thank you so much. Couldn't really ask for anything more. Now, as far as the straight pull challenge is concerned, I'm still going to try to make a video of it. If I can't do it here on the live stream, I can at least try to do it do an actual recording and just post that later as separate content. So, but at least I was able to complete the 41 push-ups like I do every year, and so next year will be 42. Razor sharp. It's actually comfortable in here because of my floor mats that I have. So it's not really that bad shooting in socks. I used to not have these floor mats in here, and anybody that's been following me long enough, y'all know when I used to do like those 4 or 5 hour live streams when I'm wearing my tennis shoes, walking around on this concrete floor. Man, my ankles and my knees would be killing me after a live stream like that. But with the gym mats that I have, it's actually really not that bad. Let's see. Charizard 101. So on my Predator Tuxedo queue, I still have the default Predator Victory Soft that's on it. It's the same thing that my Predator Black 4.5 has on it. But the Black 4.5 is almost due for a new tip. And so I'll be putting it on my lathe here. And I'm actually wanting to try to put a How soft tip on it. Ever since I started using soft tips, at least with the Revo shafts, because a lot of my other cues, they all have medium tips on them. And I learned that I actually prefer softer tips. I like the way the hit sounds and the way the hit feels in my hand with soft tips. So I'm pretty much probably going to stick with that. So obviously put a Predator Victory Soft back on it, but considering that my actual shooting cue, which is my Predator Black 4.5, that's what I take out in public with me. That also has a 12.9 revolve shaft. That's why I use the Tuxedo cue in here for YouTube purposes, because they're virtually the same cue. I mean, the only thing that's different is the butt of the cue, which doesn't really matter. So shooting with a 12.9 revo on a Tuxedo and a 12.9 on a Predator Black 4.5 is really not all that different. But when I changed the tip on the Predator, did y'all see that? My lights just went out for a second. But when I change the tip on my Predator Black 4.5, then I can try to see if there's going to be that much of a difference between the How tips and the Predator tips, plus other types of tips that I eventually want to try as well. Zach Smith, I actually do have a measle ball. I just don't use it. And the ball that I have here, because these are I have a bunch of balls that basically don't get made anymore, right? Because this is the Cyclops Zeus set that I have, and actually, I want to give someone a shout out because I have the Cyclops Zeus set. That's what y'all see me play with all the time. But as far as ball sets, that aren't being made anymore, I want to give a shout out to Ron, the pool student, for sending me these. These are the Dynasphere Tungsten set. These don't even get made anymore. Dynasphere, I think now they're up to what, platinum or something. I don't know what it is, but you can see the oddball. Like a lot of people give me flack about the color of the 7 ball and the 15 ball being the like the teal cyanish type color. Yeah, I've heard the Cyclops Zeus set being referred to as the Skittles. But when you look at this tungsten set for the Dynasphere, you can see the 2 ball and the 10 ball now have that cyan teal looking color, while the 6 and the 14 have like this grayish looking color. And then I think everything else at least looks rather the same, except the 7 and the 15 ball are a little bit more brown. But I have this set now, so that way I can do a 55 ball a 55 ball rack break and run, hopefully here in the near future when I actually sit down and try to actually record that. And then when I get another set of balls, because I still want to either get the Aramith Blacks or the Predator Arcos 2, then I'll be able to do a 65. Or is it 66? Right, because you go from 45 to 55 because you add 10. Maybe it's I don't remember what's after 55. I think it's maybe 67 because I think you have to add. Because I think I'm going to add 10 to the bottom, and then I think it would be 12. It's either going to be 12 or 11. that I ended up trying. Hey, now, you want to know, like, I'm really not the person to give you like straight pull advice, but hopefully, like what you were able to see here, when you set yourself up for that initial break shot, and you want to be able to get that spread, the best thing you can do um, after you break the first rack is try to determine what your next break ball is going to be. And you normally want it to be somewhere right near the rack, and so therefore, if you can identify the ball, you have to try to construct a pattern that's going to allow you to get to that last break ball at the appropriate angle, so that way you can make it and then drive the cue ball into the rack, like you saw me do on at least a couple of them, where I got into the second rack, never really making it to the third rack. And then sometimes when there isn't a break ball available, well, then you have to develop one. So that means you want to try to make a ball and have the cue ball gently nudge another ball out of the range of the actual rack area to where it becomes like a perfect breakout ball. And like that's just going to take practice. I mean, because that's essentially what you have to be able to do in order to run racks over and over and over again. Because if you ever get to a point to where you basically cannot set up the breakout shot, then you have to be able to know those shots, like I showed, where you can try to cross bank one of the corner balls into the side pocket and still be able to spread the rack open. Those are rare opportunities that come up, but I mean they do work. Let's see, Logan Smith. Don't know if I remember you on stream once when I asked what should I do next after my stance and shot was down, but I want to extremely thank you because you've helped me tremendously. Well, I mean, you're more than welcome, dude. That's what I'm here for. So I'm assuming that you got your stance down, and so therefore you're able to deliver the cue ball straight, so that way you can shoot whatever shot that is that you're going to be able to do. Are you able to construct, good patterns, good runs, depending upon if you're playing 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball, or let alone even straight pull, for that matter? That's right, red butthole. I have a lot of balls, and the collection isn't is only going to get bigger. The problem is that when I do these giant 8 ball racks on an 8 foot table, it gets harder and harder because I don't have as much real estate as on a 9 foot table would have. But it's fun because playing those giant racks like that is no different than playing a straight pull rack, right? Because I try to just smash the rack open. I do give myself the condition that I have to make a ball on the break, even with that giant rack. I have to make a ball on the break because that's what makes it a legit break and run. And because what I think there's a video out there where Thorsten Holman did a 55 ball straight pull rack. So he's got 54 balls racked up, and he takes out the break ball and breaks and runs a straight pull rack, much like how I'm doing with just 15 balls, but he does it with 55 or something like that, and it's amazing to watch. I don't even know if I would ever try to do something like that. I think that would be like ridiculous. Let's see. Thomas Giamo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, says, do I have any info on Airmouth vintage Belgian pool balls? Just bought them for $25 off of Facebook, brand new. I mean, as long as they roll straight, I don't really think you can ask for anything better than that. I actually have a set of balls that are at the bottom of my cue rack that holds all of my other wooden cues, because these were a set of balls that my buddies bought me for my birthday a couple of years ago because they knew I was getting a pool table. And the only reason why I don't use these balls, they're more decorative than anything else, is because I did find out that they're unevenly weighted. Because when I got my table, I'm all kinds of excited. The guy came here and set it up, and I got the balls out and I started shooting them. And then every now and again, I just noticed that the cue ball or even an object ball would just roll a little funny. And it got me thinking, like, is my table not leveled? Like, that was the first thing that I thought of. And then I started doing a little bit of tests, and I was like, holy crap, my table's not leveled. But then I thought, wait a minute, let me make sure it's not the table. So I went and called up a buddy of mine and asked to borrow a set of his Aramith pool ball set. And then come to find out that using those pool ball set everything was perfectly fine. The table was fine. It was actually the balls that my buddies got me as a birthday present. Now I'm thankful to have that as a present. Like I said, because I'm not going to get rid of them. I just can't use them since they're not evenly weighted. You hit a ball straight and it'll start rolling straight, and then all of a sudden it'll just kind of just like go off to one side, just ever so gently. But if it's rolling fast, then it doesn't have time to roll off. So I actually do have 65 balls that I can use, but 15 of them or 16 of them, counting the cue ball, isn't really usable since they're unevenly weighted. All right. Now, I'm going to attempt, if I can, to break and run at least 5 9-ball racks. I guess give me a vote on whether or not if I should use the 3-point rule while I set up this rack. Should my break satisfy the 3-point rule? Yay or nay? Anybody that's following me knows I can break this rack and satisfy the 3-point rule, no problem. But sometimes I don't always satisfy the 3-point rule. But I want to be able to do 3 legit, or at least close to 5 legit break and runs, which means I'm not going to do any mulligans. So if I don't satisfy if you want me to use the 3-point rule and I don't satisfy the 3-point rule, then it's a bad rack. Then I have to start completely over. So I see one that says yes. I see one that says no. I see another one that says yes. Another one that says yes. Thumbs down for the throw. Looks like I'm getting almost getting a 50-50, but it looks like I see more votes for yes on the 3-point rule. So let's see what we can do. No ball in hand. Let's see if I can break and run 5. I haven't done this in a while, too, so I have to, dial in my break. So, you can see, I don't have a problem satisfying the 3-point rule. Especially when I make 4 balls on the break. But I'm not really supposed to make the 1 ball on the break. Ooh, I wish I would have got a little bit flatter. A little bit flatter would have been better. Slow down, ball. All right, so there's 9. And I'm going to be just using random rack patterns. The 1, 9, and the 2 will at least be going down the middle. So that way the transitions are at least a little bit different. I said, pretty much guaranteed to make a ball on the break. But satisfying the 3-point rule and making sure I have a shot at the 1, that's going to be the difficult part. Kind of like that. Satisfied the 3-point rule. Don't really have a shot at the 1 ball. Except for cutting it in the side. Though this is 9 ball, I don't have to call anything. So if I get lucky, I get lucky. And of course, the 2 ball being guarded by the 8. Well, I don't want to risk hitting the 8 ball first, so I'm going to go ahead and try to bank the 2. Ah! So there's that. So I only got to, what, 1 and a 2, 3, 6, 12? There's only 12 balls on that one? Yeah, and I probably could have cut the 2 ball in. I just didn't want there to be any type of controversy on whether or not if I would have hit that 8 ball first. Nope, that ain't gonna do it. I didn't even make the wing ball. That doesn't happen very often. There we go. Except the 1 ball didn't make it. Like I said, that's what I was referring to. So these aren't mulligans. These are just straight up redos. The score is 0. Mainly because I want to make sure that I have a shot at the 1 ball. Satisfying the 3-point roll is not an issue because all I got to do is just hit the rack. Right? But I'm not guaranteed this because of how I'm trying to control the cue ball and control the 1 ball. Wait a minute. That did satisfy the 3-point rule, didn't it? Oh yeah, easily. All right, just had to be sure. Just had to be sure. Okay. Oh, and I hit that way too soft. Okay, let's get serious. I was surprised I was actually able to back cut that 2 ball. But I at least wanted to demonstrate the idea of satisfying the 3-point rule with a template rack is not the issue. Making sure I have a shot on the 1 ball where I don't have to take ball in hand, that's the challenge. And anybody that's followed me long enough knows that I've developed a break to where I can have a shot at the 1 ball at this corner pocket and satisfy the 3-point rule at the same time. I didn't make the wing ball. I feel like I'm hitting it hard enough. I know it's been a while since I've done this. I'm just trying to get my bearings back. I've actually been working more on my 10 ball break than anything else. So I've been playing the ghost against the 10 ball, or the 10 ball ghost, more times than not. See, like, that's all well and good, but I have to be fortunate to have a shot at the 2 ball. Too hard. Ah. Let's try this. You ever make 2 balls on the break, but then not satisfy the 3-point rule? That's what that is. And I don't know what was up with this clutter that I had here either. But I don't like the way the balls are coming apart. Give me just a second. Hope everybody's got their Christmas shopping done. I got mine done before I went to London. All right, let's see if this reacts a little bit better. All right, that's a bit better, except I didn't get my position on the 1 ball. Thank you, 6 ball. You just had to be in the way. Oh, 5 ball. Even better. Oh, deja vu. Oh man, I do love doing these like exhibition shots for y'all, but man, if I can at least run out with them as well, that'd be great. So like the way I broke the 5 out so I can shoot it, back cutting that 6 and getting position on the 7 would have been great. But if I'm also doing shots like this, I'm not really playing good pool. Because I should have complete control of the table. Cutting the 1 ball on the side like I did was cool and all, getting position on the 2 and then breaking out the 5, but I never really got good control of my cue ball, which is what I want to have. All right, but that last break was good. So let's see if we start developing some consistency now. Yeah, like that. Usually don't expect to make the 7 ball. Oh, come on. That's what I get for short drawing the 8 ball. But I should have made that 9. Okay, I think we're getting a rhythm, though. We're starting to get a rhythm. Now, for those that are new to the channel, if you pay close enough attention, regardless of what the rack pattern looks like, you should notice something very consistent about where all the balls end up with the way that I break. Drop 4. There we go. So then the 1 ball at least allows that to satisfy. Oh, really? All right, so what? So far, I haven't gotten past 2 racks yet. Yeesh. Now, if I take ball in hand, that'll make things a little bit easier, but we're not going to do that. There we go. That is literally the perfect break. And that was poor position. Oh, Nope, never mind. But is anybody noticing? Those that already know, don't say anything in the chat. But those that don't know what I'm talking about, are you able to see a consistent path that every ball seems to go, regardless of where I place them in the rack? It's basically looking at the ball starting positions. And so when I place the balls in different orders, I just get different transition patterns. Come on, 3. Not hard enough. I've played the 9-ball ghost so much that I've actually been able to figure out, at least on my table. I haven't had a chance to really try this on a 9-foot table yet. Where more times than not, I can actually have a very high predictability of knowing where all the balls are going to be after the break. Now, I don't always get it. I don't always get it right. That's so bad. Give me a bank shot. I thought it would at least be right here. There we go. Golly. 9! I got 9. Let's see. Let's try this pattern. Normally, that one ball is supposed to get past the side pocket. Oh, gosh, I didn't hit it hard enough. I could have set up for the combo, but I'm being a purist about this. I'm like, oh, I just want to run out. So let's see if I can back bank the 5 ball. And I might even get lucky and make the 8 ball while I'm at it. There's the 8 ball. There's the 5 ball. And then I gotta bank the 7 too. Now, the problem with the 7 though is that my angle is pretty darn. Dadgummit. This might be a 2-railer. I don't know if I can bend it back far enough. And it's trying. Never mind. And the cue ball is still spinning. Well, it looks like I can't get past 2. At least under these conditions. Well, it's always cool when I make almost half the rack on the break. Let's see. Fun transition from the 2 to the 4. Let's see here. Oh, that was close. All right, 9. Let's see if I can make it 18. Well, so much for that. Since I can't even make a ball on the break. That's always frustrating when the wing ball doesn't go on a template rack. There must have been a gap in there. And that's me neglecting the rack. All right. Because everything else behaved. Same thing. Wow. You don't normally see that, especially 2 times in a row. Don't know what that was all about. Again, all great and wonderful, but look at the shot that I have. Or don't have. Ah, so close. And I would have had a shot at the one ball. Make a couple more attempts, and then I'm going to take a small break. Starting to cool off finally. I guess my mini split's finally working. Now, under normal circumstances, the two balls should not be stuck down here. Because besides the wing ball going, which is automatically 1 point, the 3 ball, the 2 ball, and the 1 ball are usually the balls that I expect to be down here. Because the 7 will be gone if it behaves. See, the 2 ball got down here. The 3 ball did not, because the 3 ball didn't collide with the ball that was in the 4th row, because that's usually another thing that I'm expecting to happen. So in this case here, we want to see if the 6 ball is going to collide with the 8. When I step out of the way of the camera. If the 6 ball collides with the 8, then the 6 ball will come down here. But at least the 1 and the 2 got down here. Ah. That'll work. Get off the point. There we go. Oh, gosh, I must be getting tired. Wait for it. So this pattern here is my favorite rack pattern to run, because every ball is separated from one another in the rack. The only ball that's not separated, obviously, is the 8-ball, because the 8-ball would have to be in the back of the rack instead of the 2. Yes, 6-ball made it. Barely. Those that are not familiar with the 3-point rule, you don't have to cross the head string, you just have to touch it. And the 6-ball is touching it. Eh. That's what I was afraid of. I thought I could maybe catch the point. All right, one more attempt. I couldn't get past 2 racks so far. Ugh. Let's see here. What do I want to do this time? So if you haven't picked up by now, let's see if I can actually produce what I am about to say. Like I said, it's not always 100% accurate, but it's fairly accurate. If everything goes according to plan, one ball comes down over here, hits the rail, and then parks itself somewhere right around here. The 4-ball will bank off the side rail, come over here, maybe fall like you've seen a couple times. The 5-ball will kind of just dribble its way out. 3-ball obviously falls. 9-ball shouldn't go anywhere. 8-ball will go 3 rails around, and when it gets around here, it should clip the 7. And if it does clip the 7, it comes down here like you've seen before. If it doesn't clip the 7, then it usually comes over here, and sometimes it's fallen. 7-ball banks off the short rail and comes over here. That's when it collides with the 8. 6-ball does the same thing and parks itself over here. Now, if the 8 does clip the 7, that usually causes it to bank off the side rail and come over here with the 6 and possibly tie up. While the 2 banks off the short rail and comes over here. That's where all 9 balls end up after the break. If I strike that 1 ball correctly with the correct speed. Now, we had a collision, so that's why things don't always go according to plan, and I don't really have a shot. Ooh. So let's see if I can produce the same result. Because normally I'm supposed to have a shot at the 1 ball to go in that corner pocket. And then once I get the speed dialed in, then I'm usually pretty consistent. I'm putting just a touch of topspin on the cue ball to hold the cue ball in the center of the table. So that way it has position on the 1 ball. Sometimes the 7 ball will come around and actually hit the cue ball. Sometimes it'll miss it. Kind of like that, but we had another collision. Now, if the 1 ball would have gotten past the side pocket, like I would have been set up. Because how I'm striking the 1 ball from the approach angle that I have here is not straight on. It's just a little to the right. I hit that so soft. That's the risk that I'm taking when I usually try to satisfy the 3-point rule. Now, normally, like I said, the other wing ball is supposed to work its way around. And then if the 1 ball passes, then I'm good. Otherwise, I'm expecting the 2 ball to pass. And that'll satisfy my 3-point rule. Now, if I want to just throw all that out the window and just hit a little bit harder, then I'm not sure if I'm going to have position on the 1 ball, because I can at least get the 1 ball to go here, maybe come off here, and then set up for this corner pocket. But I haven't practiced it enough, like this, for example. So even that, I hit the rack harder, and that doesn't even satisfy the 3-point rule. So that's usually why I'm not looking for power to be able to satisfy the 3-point rule. I'm looking more for finesse and control. Kind of like that, but I don't have a shot. So what are my options? What are my options? Jeez. I think if I hit the 1, will the 3 drop? I doubt it. All right, let's see if we can at least get another rack going, or an attempt at 4.5 racks, since I haven't even gotten past 2 yet. And normally when I'm practicing, this is how I actually practice, because I practice like I'm in competition. You know, I try to break to where I don't have to take ball in hand. Try to produce consistent results. Whoops. But in usual competition that I play in, with the exception of the Texas State Open, because that was 9 on the spot and the 3-point rule, the 3-point rule is usually not used. But you can see how many times I'm breaking over and over and over, because I'm always studying like what is different with my breaks like that. Like why, even though I can tell you or predict where all 9 balls are supposed to go, what is causing the rack to not behave? The way I'm hitting it, the amount of power, the way I'm hitting the cue ball. Do I actually need to clean the balls? Not just wipe them down the way that I did? Like that. I mean, even that's terrible. But this is how I practice. How does everybody else practice? Like, I'm definitely getting my steps in, walking to and from the table, or to and from the head rail to the foot rail, to be able to rack the balls over and over again. Like, now nothing is behaving. Even the 9 ball got loose. But this is what I can spend hours doing when I'm actually in a good practice rhythm. Now, when I look and see like how my cue ball came over here, what that tells me is that I aimed a little to the left of the one ball, which is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to aim a little to the right. And these are all the fine details that I go through when I'm breaking. Now, of course, it'd be nice if I had a designated racker, so that way I don't have to keep coming back and forth over and over again, so I can figure this out. Now, that actually would have been it had the 7 ball got down here. Because now that the 2 ball passed, now with the cue ball being where it's at over there, tells me that I'm striking just a little too far to the right of the 1 ball. So now I got to try to dial it back by like, we're talking literally a millimeter. But man, all right, let's just go ahead and add some power because my control brake isn't working right now. So what I can try to do is the cut brake. So now I am going to be expecting the 1 ball to be somewhere over here if I do the cut brake. Or for it to fall, but I didn't satisfy the 3-point rule. And this is why everybody hates the 3-point rule. But then even according to, Matchroom's rules, you have to have a forceful brake, whatever that means. And see, even if I do that, like I said, I don't want the 1 ball to fall, ideally. I'm not two here. Well, at the very least, I can say that I'm putting on a show, doing these exhibition shots. Oh, but I hit the 7 anyway. All right. Last one. Or last attempt. Let's see if I can string the rack. Excuse me. Oh, I even overcut that ball. All right, I got to take a break because I'm actually starting to build up a sweat again. Man. Whew. So that's a lot harder than it appeared to be, especially given that I didn't want to take ball in hand after the break. Oh. Andrew L., you only get to practice at league. I actually used to be like that back in the day, where I can only practice at league. Whew. Let's see. Todd Michael, 2 questions. First, is your table sitting on top of the floor mat in your garage? And second, why do you leave the template rack on the table after the break? I feel it could rarely get in the way. I mean, it does. So the first question is my table is just sitting on the concrete, and the mats are surrounding the table. And then for the template rack, leaving the template, I'm just lazy. I mean, this is my home. I'm not playing in competition or anything. So when I'm uh, when I'm done with a rack, I would just want to be able to just put the balls back up. Usually the rack isn't going to be in my way. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it rolls in my favor, sometimes it doesn't roll in my favor. It's pretty much a 50-50. It doesn't really come into play like all that much. And if I knew it was going to come into play, that's probably when I would move it. But more times than not, it doesn't come into play. Corner 4 Billiards. Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker, man. I really do appreciate it. That's actually my buddy from he's a fellow Texan. Also has a YouTube. A lot of the viewers that are actually in here, they have their own YouTube channels. I can see if I can try to remember some off the top of my head. Corner 4 Billiards is one of them. Ron the pool student that you saw in here is another one. Bang Time Pool is another one. Let's see. I saw Ron Johnson was in here earlier. He's got a channel called Rackham Jake. Is there anybody else that's in here? I don't see anybody else as I'm scrolling up. Those are the ones that at least are that I know on off the top of my head that have their own YouTube channels. Now you're saying Thorsten Homan did a 147 with the snooker balls on his table. I have a set of snooker balls. I've used them for my 36 ball rack and my 45 ball rack, and I have thought about trying to actually play like a snooker or snooker type game, but I have to make sure that I put uh, mark the spots on where the colored balls would actually be, and then of course try to actually perform a 147. It would be very much like playing straight pool. Where I have to try to do red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black, and then try to run the colored balls in numerical sequence in order to be able to score the 147. But I just haven't really tried to do it. I would have to think that maybe after I get my table refelted, I would probably at least mark the table to know where the colored balls would have to go, and then just probably just try to do it in my spare time. But it's something that's in the back of my mind to actually try to do. But like I said, I just haven't tried. Is all. I've only used the snooker balls to be able to create the giant 8 ball racks, which I eventually plan on adding the Dynasphere balls to them, so that way I can try to do a 55 ball rack. Whew. Let's see here. Are you saying that Cool Hand Drew? Are you saying I don't look a day over 25, even with my beard? So now I'll eventually think about doing it at some point in time, but it'll most likely be after I get my table refelted, which, like I said, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping, either sometime after Christmas or at least sometime after New Year's. I hopefully to get that done. Let's see here. Just scrolling back up to see what other. Yeah, I see Zach Smith. You're talking about how you start off by just throwing the balls on the table. There's nothing wrong with doing that. The only reason why I like practicing the break is again because I like to practice for competition, per se, to where like I want to be able to consistently produce my breaks over and over again, whether it's an 8 ball rack, a 9 ball rack, or even a 10 ball rack. So, because when you're just throwing the balls on the table, you're practicing your shot making abilities. You're practicing your cue ball transitions from one ball to the other. But the only thing that you're not practicing when you do something like that is your breaks. And the breaks are everybody knows that the breaks is going to be or is the most important shot of the game. Data Lab, how long have I had this felt? This is the felt that came with the table, which is just a little over 3 years old. And I don't necessarily need to change it. It's still in good condition. It's got a lot of burn marks on it. It probably could use a good vacuuming and probably just a good wipe down. But there's no holes in it at all. So the only thing that's pushing me to want to refelt it is just so I can get my pockets shimmed to be a little bit smaller, so that way I can force myself to be a little bit more accurate. Daniel Rice, do I want to refelt my own table? I mean, maybe at some point in time. I mean, I took the time to start learning how to change tips and stuff, but what I can say is when I have my buddy come over here to refelt my table, I'm obviously going to be watching what he does. I'm also going to film it too, so that I'll be able to do like some sort of time lapse of the table getting taken apart, the felt getting taken off. So like that'll actually be a video of itself. But I'll be watching my buddy like how he does it because he does it professionally. Like and because he refelts all the tables in the nearby area for the businesses and stuff. So I'll be watching him to see like how it's actually done, and then would I eventually try it myself? I mean, who knows? I'm not going to say no, but it's a possibility that I might try to do it myself. Andrew L, you want to know what skill level did I start off with when I first joined League? Well, I was a tournament player before I ever joined League. So, like when I started playing when I was 17 years old, about 6 months into playing is when I started playing League. The pool hall that I grew up in had a 9 ball tournament, and when I was actually there one time just playing, and then all of a sudden the 9 ball tournament started, I got really interested in wanting to play in the tournament. So that's when I started. 6 months after playing, I started playing in the 9 ball tournament. I started gambling a little bit, and I think BCA League was the first thing that I ever joined. And that was when I think that was when I played with an 8 point scale where every ball was worth a point. And at that time, I hovered around the like five or six type of thing. And it wasn't until like after I became a rather seasoned player, and even for my 8 ball skill level, where I started finally getting up to like the sevens and the eights on an 8 point scale, that I joined the APA league. But when I joined the APA league, it's just like anything else. I started off as a 3, but instantly jumped up to like a 6, and then eventually became a 7. Same thing with 9 ball, where since in eight ball you start off as a 7. When I played 9 ball, I started as a 7, but then shortly after that it became a 9, and then have stayed there ever since. So it didn't take me long to reach the top of the ladder. Robbie Stout, which do I prefer, BCA or APA or other? Well, I don't know other, right? Because I know there's TAP, I know there's Napa, I think there's ACS, there's VNEA. Around here, all we have is BCA and APA, and we have Napa. I tried Napa Scotch doubles, Jack and Jill Scotch doubles with a good friend of mine, and I didn't really like it. The handicaps that are in Napa are just ridiculous. I like my buddy Ricardo that I talked about earlier, that inspired me to do the push up challenge for my birthday. Like when he tells me like the races that he has to play in Napa, where it's like a 9-2 race, nine for him and 2 for his opponent. Like that's just freaking ridiculous. Um, but to answer your question, BCA or APA, for 8 ball, I would have to say BCA. Now, in my area, we don't have a BCA 9 ball league. So for 9 ball, I would have to say APA. Now, if my area actually had a BCA 8 ball, actually, I don't think it would matter whether it was BCA or APA because 9 ball is 9 ball, right? The stigma between APA 8 ball and BCA 8 ball is the idea of an APA 8 ball, you don't have to call the ball, call the pocket, right? You just get all around slop, and then the only ball that you really have to call is the 8 ball, right? That's really the big difference. And then in BCA, you can't win or lose off of the break, right? If you make the 8 ball on the break, you either spot it and continue to shoot, or you re-rack and break. And even if you make the 8 ball on scratch on the break in BCA, it's not a loss, right? The opponent has the opportunity to spot the 8 ball and shoot, or re-rack and break. Whereas in APA, if you make the 8 ball on the break, it's a win. If you make the 8 ball on scratch, you lose. Right, so there's some subtle differences. So at least in BCA 8 ball, I don't know how you want to argue this. I mean, people want to say like you have to have more skill in BCA, but like I would almost challenge the argument to where like the challenge the argument as to the skillfulness of it, to where like in BCA the table's always open after the break, right? If you make a solid, you might want to run out stripes. If you make a stripe, you might want to run out solids. In APA, you have to play what you make, unless of course you make one of each, because then at least one of each, because then the table's open. So in APA, if you make a solid, but stripes is more runnable, well, isn't it more skillful to run the set that you made? That's kind of how I would argue it. So whereas like they both have their pros and cons, as to like one would be better over the other. Like, and of course the APA 8 ball is going to be geared more towards amateur players, meaning that if someone is interested in learning how to play pool and get into the game / sport, they'd probably be more comfortable playing under APA conditions where they don't have to call the ball and call the pocket. Whereas in BCA, you do. And if you're completely new to the game and you're trying to learn how to play, and you're just getting your butt whipped because you have to call the ball, call the pocket, and you're still learning how to hold the cue and how to use center ball and everything else, that could be easily discouraging, and not allow you to want to play. So APA, at least, I think, has its advantages for the absolute beginning player wanting to get into competition, and then of course learn how to play the game, etc., etc. So it's hard saying, but me being at the skill level that I'm at, I can prefer BCA 8 ball over APA 8 ball, but I can argue APA 8 ball. I can argue APA 8 ball for someone that's not as skillful as me. It all works out the same way. Me, I would just rather have some style to play. As long as I know what the rule set is, I can almost care less, because then I'm playing. I would just basically want to be able to learn whatever the rule set is, and then learn how to be able to play the game under the given rule set. Because whereas I think for like VNEA, the Valley National something, I can't, 8 ball Association. right? I think that's what it stands for. I think that's very similar to BCA, if not identical. The only difference is that it's just played on valleys. That's why the V that's in VNEA stands for valley. So, but long-winded answer to what was supposed to be actually a short answer. Boss man, you want to know why did I go ghetto with the name Lil Chris? Well, I don't consider it to be ghetto. There's an old video on my channel where I basically interviewed myself, and the question that I asked myself is, do you have a nickname? Because a lot of people usually develop nicknames in their given pool hall, and my nickname happened to be Lil Chris. That was the name that was given to me, because I'm only 5'5", right? And the pool hall that I grew up in, we had about like 6 or 7 players that were named Chris, and out of all of them, I was the smallest. So that was the easiest way for people to identify me. So like when someone says Chris, you don't have to go Chris who, but if someone says Little Chris, they know exactly who they're talking about, and that's how I got the name. And when I started my YouTube channel a little over 2 years ago, that's why I wanted to name my channel Little Chris, because that was pretty much the name that I was given in the pool hall, and I'm still known by that today. Not just because of my YouTube channel, but because of just people that have known me for the past 20 years that have been playing pool. Dylan Young, thank you for the birthday wishes. You're saying any tips for a new hire caps and APA trying to deal with the mental game? I seem to get frustrated more now when I first started out in APA. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific with what is getting you frustrated. Um, and don't just tell me because you lose, right? Because I mean, anybody that loses a match is frustrating. Like, can you give me like specific scenarios of what it is that you're dealing with? Like, first of all, what is your skill level? Um, excuse me. What type of what skill levels are you being put up against? And then, of course, what is your win loss ratio? Like, what are the typical scenarios that are actually causing you to get more frustrated? Because then I can probably give you a little bit more solid advice. Because the way you phrased your question is just a little too generic, and I'd rather be a little bit more specific. Michael McMurray, you have a local American rotation league in your hometown. I think it's an underplayed format. It really helps with your defensive plays. Any thoughts? When you say rotation league, are you talking 15 ball rotation? Are you talking about 9 ball rotation? Are you talking about 10 ball rotation? Because rotation in and of itself means run them in numerical order. And to my knowledge, there's only 7 ball, which is hardly ever played anymore. All 15 ball used in rotation, 9 ball and 10 ball. Which one do you use, or do you do something completely different? Oh, okay. So you're a skill level 6, Dylan. You play up against 5, 6s, and 7s and 8 ball. The higher players tend to run out more than you, and you're missing silly shots rather than try. And so now you're trying to focus more on your on the mental side of the game more. Well, you seem to like. I'm going to assume that you're describing a very common thing that I actually talked about in my last APA videos that I just recently published while I was in London, because they were I reviewed my APA matches in a live stream, and then I clipped them out and posted them separately. But a lot of them had to deal with to where you watched my opponents that they can clearly shoot, right? Because they were running the table, but the problem was they weren't finishing the table. And since they weren't finishing the table and they only had 1 ball left on the table, or they were on the 8 ball and I have all 7 of mine, then they generally are going to lose the rack, because I'm either going to run the table or I'm going to play some sort of defensive shot to where they can't see the ball that they're going to be chasing after, because they're not going to get a shot at it unless I just absolutely make a mistake. Because then if my safety works, I'm going to get ball in hand. Then I'm going to run the table. Right. So I would wonder if what you're describing are the scenarios that I'm talking about, because these are the scenarios that typically five, sixes, and sevens run up against me when they try to basically shoot toe to toe with me, instead of playing strategically against me. So if you're losing your matches because you break, you make a ball, and then you attempt to run the table, and then you get down to like your last one or two balls, and you start to, as you get closer and closer to your last couple of balls, you start to realize you don't know what you're going to do with this stuff, or you do realize that your last couple of balls end up having to be trouble balls because they're in clutters or something. You have to try to break them out. Then you really need to rethink your strategy of how you're trying to attack the rack when it's your turn. If you can be honest with your skill level, even as a skill level 6, if you know that when you come to the table that there's no way you're going to finish the table, just be honest with yourself and say, "There's no way I can try to finish this table." So don't try to finish the table. It doesn't do you any good to knock 3 or 4 balls in because you're capable of knocking 3 or 4 balls in, and then there's nothing you can do with the other 2 or 3. You basically need to. It's almost like in one pocket, we refer to one pocket as the game of chess. Well, even playing 8-ball at a high level is like playing chess, to where if you cannot run the table, you need to start trying to set the table up in order for it to be ran. Now, sometimes that doesn't always go according to plan either, because your opponent can easily screw up your plans, especially if they're a ball banger. But you have to you also have to take the gamble of when you're going to allow your opponent to come to the table, because you're going to, move a ball here, try to block a pocket, but your opponent is going to have the same number of obstacles as you are. All right, so you're basically gambling that your opponent is not going to be able to run out. But if all you're trying to do is you clear the balls off the table that you're able to clear off, and then you just hope that your opponent messes up and allows you an opportunity to attack the balls that you have left, well, you don't have control of the rack when you're doing that. And if you win the rack under that condition, you won by luck. And that's usually not that is not the way that you want to be able to win the rack, not by luck, because you're chasing after the last ball by hoping that your opponent messes up so badly that they give you a shot at it, especially if you're on the 8-ball. Right? If you ran all 7 of your balls and there's no shot on the 8-ball because you didn't develop it, like it was in a clutter and you didn't develop it out, well, you're obviously going to hit the 8-ball so that way you don't commit a foul and then open it up. But then now you have to wait for your opponent to miss and to give you a shot. And if you're playing against a smart player, they're not going to do that. Right? So if this is what you're facing, then, like I said, then changing the way that you attack the rack is going to be my first advice. And that's usually going to be is identifying whether or not if you can run the rack or not. And if you cannot run the rack, it's okay to make a ball or two, but then push a ball towards a pocket, block the pocket or something, so that way, especially block a pocket that your opponent needs to use to clear their balls off the table. And then slowly but surely try to get your other trouble balls out in the open. And then when your opponent misses because you've gotten some sort of control over the table, because remember, you can have control of the table when you're at the table and when you're not at the table. And if you can have both of those conditions, then you're in a pretty good spot to be able to win the rack. That would be at least something to look at. If you go check out not my most recent APA match that I posted, but look at the last two. Look at the two previous APA matches before that, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Where my opponents would run the table, but they wouldn't finish the table, and that's what allows me to end up winning the rack from there. So I hope that helps. Yeah, and just like my buddy Jake from World of Pool and Billiards, if you cannot get out, you need to focus on developing the problem balls while keeping your opponent's troubled balls tied up. Exactly, because you obviously don't want to open up your opponent's clutters or anything. You want to open up yours. So like it just becomes really different. And then of course the better you start to get when with your cue ball control and everything else, kind of like what I was doing with the straight pool stuff. If you were here long enough to watch me do a couple of straight pool racks, where you can work on developing patterns to where you can break out trouble balls, and then of course being able to continue to run. It's the same concept that you do in 8 ball. Attack the rack. That's a T-shirt waiting to happen. You know what? You know what, Ned J? I might have to. I might have to try that. I've had a couple of people ask me if I ever wanted to go down the merchandise route, but that turns my channel into a business, and I don't really want my channel to become a business. My business is being a software developer. Working for the company that that I work for, and I do this as a hobby, and I want to make sure that I keep it as a hobby because that's what allows it. That's what allows it to be fun for me. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make one more attempt. Well, maybe a couple, not just one more. One more attempt at the straight pool stuff. Danks 9000. How tight are your pockets, and how would I do on 4-inch pockets? I honestly don't know how well I would be able to do on 4-inch pockets like the Moscone Cup, but I have pro cut pockets, which are 4.5 corner pockets and 5-inch side pockets. And when I get my table refelted, I'm planning on having them shimmed by 1/4 of an inch. So that way my corner pockets will be 4 1/4. And then my side pocket should be 4 3/4, which I believe is what Neil's Fine practices on. The only reason why I would need to go to 4-inch pockets is if I ever plan on trying to play in the U.S. Open, which is ran by Matchroom now, because I understand that they're going to try to make 4-inch pockets like their standard. So I honestly don't know how I would be able to do with 4-inch pockets. But I don't have any interest in making my table 4-inch pockets, because that's typically not what we play on around here. All right. Let's see if I can run my age in straight pull before we call it a night. This will be my last few attempts. That was actually a bad start, but at least the rack opened up. Ah. Nuts. So, like, when I played that 11 ball the way that I did to be able to open up the clutter, that's kind of the same concept that gets applied to 8 ball when you think about it. Because when you identify a clutter, the first thing you want to figure out is, well, how do you open up the clutter? And then if you can identify a ball that's going a ball that's obviously in your set, that's going to allow you to do that, then you have to construct a pattern that allows you to get like the appropriate angle on the ball that you want to use as a breakout ball. Shoot the ball in, break the clutter open. So that way you can continue your run. This is basically the same concept. This is why straight pull is a really good game to practice also. Not enough draw. Supposed to get positioned on the 5. So right now it's looking like maybe the 7 ball is going to be a good breakout ball for me. So as long as I construct a pattern, like where my cue ball's at right now would probably be the perfect spot to shoot the 7 and then break the rack open if I was starting the next rack. Oh, but I got to get to the next rack first and foremost. All right. Let's see. Thinking maybe the 10 ball or the 13 ball, but I'm about to shoot the 3rd. So maybe the 10 ball will be my breakout ball. Oh, gosh. That's how you know I'm getting tired. But if I don't complete the challenge on this live stream, I'll eventually do it on an actual video. Or at least within the next day or two. And then I got to start teaching again. I haven't really taught anything. And actually, if you go look at one of the APA matches that I just talked about, you actually get to see me use the plus 2-rail kicking system. I give a small explanation on how I use it. I wasn't really expecting that. 1 ball, side pocket. Okay, I just developed the 9-ball as a good break ball, so hopefully I can just leave it there. I need to get back down table here and deal with this 10-ball. All right, so I want a nice back cut angle. I don't want the back cut angles that I've been getting. Like that. That's at least a decent one. So that's 14. Let's see if I can cut that in and get a decent breakout spread. Except I have to shoot it left-handed. Okay, so stuff that I have to work on developing. Now, sometimes you don't want to develop them right away because you just end up cluttering stuff up. So that's why I'm kind of just knocking some balls in right now, just so I can have spaces for them to be able to move into. Wish I would have plowed through that a little bit better. Okay, good recovery. 12 ball is looking pretty nice. Just got to make sure I don't screw up my pattern here. And I was hoping to hit behind the 14 because then I can hold it better. I don't really like how finesse I have to hit this shot. Oh, because that could have went all kinds of wrong. But hey, I finally got through the second rack. Until I do something stupid like that. Golly. So that's at least 28. But I don't think I have a shot. Yep, I don't have a shot. I should have spun the ball a lot better. So, this is where I can try to get creative. And if this were like magic racked, I can try to get that ball to go into that corner pocket. But looks like that's what I'm going to try to call anyway. I just got to figure out which of these three balls am I going to hit. And I think it's going to be the 3 ball. So 15 ball corner pocket. So that ends it. So that was at least a 28. So we've got an improvement. All right, let's make this one my last attempt. So we just kind of gently try to develop the rack if we can. 5 in the side. Hit that a little too hard. Oh, come on. Nah, I'm not quitting on that note. I shouldn't have missed that 9 ball. All right, let's try this one for size. That was dumb. The 13 ball went by itself. Now I kind of tied it up when I did that. Trying to develop those two. Did a poor job. Might have to combo them in. Nine ball. Oh, I'm getting tired. Cue ball was supposed to stop. All right. 14. Wow. That didn't really spread open. Man. 9 ball, corner pocket. Two for one. I got to be careful here. So, like, I can try to set up for the 13. If I get the right angle, then I can go right into the clutter. That's not the right angle. All that, and I got no reward. Literally, no reward for that. Ah, gee whiz. Like, I seriously just did not get rewarded for that. And I have no clue what to do here. So the problem that I have here is I can bank the 15 ball. I just don't know if I'm going to come behind the 10 and the 15 will go, or if I'm going to bank the 10 in after I hit the 15. But I think I'm going to have to call the 15. Ah, man. All right. One more valiant effort, and then I'm really done. That was discouraging right off of the opening break from that one. When the rack really didn't spread. Which is one thing that you have to be careful about when you're coming when you're breaking the cue ball into the rack. Like, you don't want to break like straight into this ball like this. You kind of want to glance off of it so that way multiple balls are actually getting hit, because if you just go straight into it, then like everything kind of just sits still. And the cue ball also kind of sits right into the rack. But if you glance off of like one of these lead balls here or here, then the cue ball at least frees itself from the rack. All right, this is my last attempt. Especially when I almost messed up right there. 9 inside. Oh, man. All right. 15 ball. Ah, so that's going to do it. 28 was the best that I could do, and I couldn't get past 2 9-ball racks without since I wasn't taking ball in hand. Oh. So, but like I said, that is straight pull. If anybody's never really seen straight pull, so I'll be trying. I'll be trying that again as time goes by. I'll try to be able to at least complete the run your age challenge. Hopefully within the next day or two, and then just be able to go from there. But it is 11:31. I actually only wanted to stream until 11 o'clock, so I'm 30 minutes over what I wanted to do. So, at the very least, I want to personally thank everybody for being here to celebrate my birthday. I'm at least grateful that I was able to perform 41 plus push-ups and keep the push-up challenge that I commit to myself every year. So next year will be 42. And then on top of whenever I do complete the Dr. Dave Run Your Age Straight Pull Challenge, being able to do 41 and then 42 next year as well. Kia Burwell, I hope I'm saying that correctly. How you doing? This is one of my recent followers. She plays on the WPBA, the Women's Pro Tour event. And she was kind enough to tell me that if you look at my most recent 9-ball breaking videos, basically how I was trying to tell y'all about how I break the 9-ball rack and I can predict where all 9 balls are going to go and stuff when you break a certain way and stuff like that. That she's been able to implement that into her game, and that has paid off. For some of the tournaments that she actually has played in, which just it makes me like super happy to see that a professional woman professional player is able to even utilize my stuff. You can almost say like there's this stigma of you know you know who is supposed to teach what at what level kind of thing. So to know that my the way that I'm able to teach certain mechanics and fundamentals and how it can actually affect all the different levels of play um, is just something that I'm very grateful for, and I'm always happy to hear when someone's able to take something that I've taught from an older video and even from current videos, and they're able to implement that into their game. And they tell me about how they've jumped 2 or 3 APA skill levels, or they were finally able to break and run their first rack, or to do whatever. I mean, it's I'm nothing but blessed when I hear stuff like that. That my videos have had that much of an impact on people. That's why I love doing this stuff. It's like I only teach what I know, and I certainly don't try to teach in a way that basically says like I know what I'm talking about. It's just I try to teach in a way that here's what has worked for me. I try to break it down in such a way to where hopefully everybody can understand what in the world I'm saying, and then hopefully that they're able to replicate what I say, because that's usually the hardest thing that a teacher of any sort has to deal with, and that's being able to teach in a way to where the lowest common denominator can hopefully pick it up. So if I used to be a part-time college instructor when I got my master's degree. And so one of the first things that I had to learn when I was teaching like my programming classes was to assess every one of my students and basically pick out like who are going to be the most struggling students in my class, because everybody learns differently. But when I can identify who those struggling students are going to be, I try to construct my lessons in such a way to where I know that they are going to understand what I'm saying and they're going to be able to learn. And if that works, then that means everybody above them is going to get it as well. Because I don't want to teach in such a way to where, I hit a certain audience, but then everybody else, it just goes right over their head, right? That's to me, that's not being a good teacher. And so that's why I've broken down my videos as bad as I've done it before. I, I like to see some of the comments that I get on my first banking video where I'm going like, what's half of 4? What's half of 3? What's half of 2? And I get a bunch of trolling comments like, you lost me at what's half of 4. You know, when but some people just don't know. So like if it's broken down that hard, and because people will come up and say like, I got all that part, and I was like, well, I'm happy that you can understand that, but not everybody is you, right? So I have to think of everybody else besides you that may or may not understand what it is that I'm talking about, which is why I break things down as hard as I did. Go look at my Mass A video and look at how hard I broke down my Mass A video to be able to teach people how to do a Mass A shot, or the same thing with a jump shot, or just every little tidbit that I could possibly think of to everything that I've been teaching nowadays. And so, like, I know that the next lesson video that I want to try to actually produce is going to be the plus 2 rail kicking system. I talked about it in my last, not my last APA, but it's like the third most recent APA match that I posted. It's actually labeled the plus 2 rail kicking system actually works. That's what the title of it is. And I kind of explain how I did it and how I was able to make the shot. Excuse me. And then I actually explained about how I'm going to try to actually make a full-fledged video of it to where I can demonstrate kicking from the side rail, 2 rails to go to the corner pocket, or going to 1 diamond short, 2 diamond shorts, or whatever else. I just have to be able to obviously sit down long enough and create it, because I know that's going to be a video that's going to take me hours to make, mainly because of I got to make sure I say what I say clearly. And then, of course, just like how y'all saw tonight, I'm not going to be able to do everything on my first attempt. So I got to make sure that each take is crisp and clear, and actually does what it's supposed to, and demonstrates what it's supposed to demonstrate. And I may try to make sure to leave like a mess up in there every once in a while, just to show the human side of me. But like I said, the biggest thing that I want to point out with Kia Birdwell, she has a YouTube channel of her own. She kind of does like a couple of drills. I know she's been doing a straight pull thing as well. Are you trying to do a road to 100 as well, Kia, or are you just playing to just, or are you playing just to play? But she does drills, all kinds of different stuff. As a upcoming pool player on the WPBA tour. And stuff. And like I said, when she contacted me to let me know how much my 9-ball breaking video has helped her game out, like I was just flabbergasted. And that's just great to hear. Cue ball control. Sometimes you're saying Dr. Dave equals technical, Lil Chris equals clear simplicity. I like it. I like it. And Dr. Dave, like I have nothing but respect for Dr. Dave. He's one of my favorite YouTube pool YouTubers to actually watch, and he was actually on what's the Neil deGrasse Tyson show? Is it Star Talk or something? He was on a show with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he was talking about the actual physics that are actually in the game of pool, specifically the Coriolis effect, which is what is used to help determine a Mass A shot. So if you want to learn how to do a Mass A shot and learn about the Coriolis effect, either check out my video, check out Dr. Dave's video, or check out that Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave cut up the video of when he was on Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and that version is actually much more easier to watch than the actual Neil deGrasse Tyson version of it, because in the actual Star Talk episode, they kept cutting him off. A lot of times when he was talking, but in his version where he segmented it up, it's actually much more easier to watch. But like I said, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. For the 59 of y'all that are still here, thank you so much for being here on my birthday. Ron Lube, you want to know what is my high run? I believe last year when I did the Run Your Age Straight Pool Challenge, I think I stopped at like 50 or 51. That's when I actually made the mistake. I did 40 like I was supposed to, but I just kept on going until I missed. And I think that was around 50 or 51. I don't remember exactly, but that is a video that is on my YouTube channel that you can check out. For everybody else here, like I said, just stay tuned for the next couple of videos that I'm hopefully going to dish out. hopefully here in the next week or two. Bang Time Pool, thanks for the birthday wishes, and everybody else, thank you so much for being here for the birthday wishes. Corner Four Billiards, thank you again for the $5 super sticker, and just overall, everybody, just thanks for being here to help celebrate my birthday. So until next time, take care, everybody.